Hey everyone, I'm Dragonite, and I finally got to make a project using Arduino. I've actually really been wanting to do this for quite a while now, but never really got to do it, and didn't really know where to start. I've also wanted to do a video kind of like this, but instead of Arduino, I wanted to make a game using something like Unity or Unreal, but that will still have to wait. I'm not quite sure what to do there yet. Keyword being yet. Anyways, let's jump into this video. The first thing I did is what you're seeing on screen, which is to model the heart cutout. Of course, I modeled it in Blender, and it was printed on my Ender 5. With it printed, here's a clip of what I wanted to do with it. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm going to put the Arduino in. The Arduino will actually go in here, it's hollowed in here, so that it will fit here. Then there will be lights on these holes. Probably have to tape them in somehow, and I'll have to figure out how to connect them. But aside from that, there's, maybe if I get to it, this hole right here will have a light sensor, or next to it, like right here, so it'll detect if there's light or not, and then the lights will turn on and off. That's the idea, at least. We'll see how well this works. And here's the model. I also added texture to the back, because I thought it would look better. So yeah, that was the original idea, but I will let you know that things definitely did change after that. But with that said, we finally get to jump into the Arduino. With it, I already knew how to get lights to blink, control servos, motors, light sensors, and other small gadgets, but I had really no idea how to get the lights where I wanted them. But because I knew it needs to be a circuit, I first thought to connect the wires with something like tape or hot glue. Yeah, you're already probably laughing at me, but that was totally my mistake. I ended up spending way more time trying to get this to work than it was really worth. Though I did partially actually get it to work, but it kept on doing itself after I did kind of get it to work. Embarrassingly, this took around 2 to 3 hours until I realized it just wasn't going to work or even be worth it. That's when I realized the Arduino starter kit actually had cords that would allow me to connect wires to the LEDs. Yeah, that was kind of annoying. I had spent a long time trying to tape wires, and it turns out Arduino already had wires with it that would work perfectly. But with that settled, I did end up moving at a much faster pace and was able to complete the wires and move to the coding part, which is really where I was excited. It didn't actually take too long to get the lights working, but it still made me really excited to know I had done it, with the help of Google, of course. Though here's the clip of it partially working. Okay, so I just had to pause the time lapse because I'm really excited about this right now. I finally got if statements working, and it is great. Along with if statements, I figured out how to do nested if statements, so with else if and then else afterward. So what it does, it's taken me a couple hours to do this, but this potentiometer, right now you can see that nothing's on, and that light, you can tell it's not really on if I compare it to this, and it still looks on. Yeah, I noticed that was kind of an issue. But if I turn this a little bit, okay, so I was trying to pull it the wrong way, or twist it the wrong way. But see, I turned it a little bit, and now I turn it a little more, and then I turn it all the way, and it's completely off. So that's what I've been doing. What I want this to do, though, eventually, is basically how it is right now, other than I want it to also do another statement, so I'll do another else if, and say, if so-and-so between certain range, then it will have a cycle where it just blinks between all of them, and they just continually blink. But yeah, there we have that. Now time for another time lapse. With it kind of working, I then tried for another 2 or 3 hours to get it to blink when I turned the potentiometer a specific amount using while statements and loops. This really didn't work, and I ran out of time for day 1, so I cleaned it up, and here's what I got. Okay, so here is the first version of it, unless I get any other prototypes. So, when I turn this right here, whoops, if it doesn't pop off. Okay, let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. There is red. You can see the red lights. And you can see that it turned on the white one, and then all 3. Then if I go farthest, then it all turns off. So yeah, that's the basic thing, and I finally got it done. Yeah, not too bad, though I really wanted to get the blinking part to work, so I spent more time coding it and got what you're seeing on screen. This code was actually way simpler than I was originally making it seem, and I really didn't even have to use while statements and loops. All I had to do was put the code and just change a couple things in the if statement that I already had. But with that said, all this code really does is allow for 10 things that the lights can do depending on how much the potentiometer is turned. Without any further ado, here is a clip of me going through the 10 cycles. So yeah, that was basically this project, and as you could see from the beginning, I was originally intending to do a light sensor, but ultimately didn't because I like the idea of having different cycles instead, using the potentiometer. I haven't even showed you this in the dark, which is really what this for, seems how it has lights. So let's do that. Though I will warn you that in the video, it doesn't do it justice like seeing it in person. The image is somewhat better and closer to real life than the video, but still, unfortunately, it's not the same. But anyway, here it is. This is a mainly light-based thing, is when I leave it go all the way, let's turn it all the way off, and there. So yeah, right now I can see the heart shape really well and it glows really well, but even if I move this, it doesn't seem to really do much. You can kind of see it, but not very well. Which is, yeah, totally unfortunate. You can see the crack in the line better, that's funny. Yeah, that doesn't work quite as well, but you can see that there are cycles by doing this because you could just see the lights. There's the white one. There's all three. Well, actually, where is the third one? Oh, you're not seeing the third one. There it is. So yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, hopefully you like seeing in the dark. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention the prototypes I had modeled, which was really just another variation of the heart that I really didn't like both the looks and the fact that I had to use supports, which the current version actually doesn't require. The other prototype was just a smaller version of the main model, except without the texture on the back. Okay, so prototypes. I had two prototypes. The first one you're seeing, no, this was the first one, right here. It was this other heart design. It was a completely different heart design, and it really doesn't look like that much like a heart, so I would have changed it to make it look more like a heart, probably more like that one, but just this concept. This concept is that it would go onto here, you'd fit all the stuff in when it's opened, and then the lights would be right here in these little holes. That was basically the idea of it. The biggest issues with this one was, for one, I didn't have a way to keep it there and connect it. And the other big issue with this one is that you would have to use supports when printing this thing, because you could print this one just fine without supports by just printing it like this, but I didn't like using supports at all, so I redesigned it and came up with this one, which I actually quite like a lot more. I think it looks cooler, just an indent of a heart. And then I had it print like this so that it's support free. Well, there we have it. There was my first Arduino project completed. Thanks for watching the process. Hopefully you found it kind of interesting, and maybe you will even try it now. Honestly, I'm just really happy with what I learned in this project. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Bye! There's copper in her natural habitat. Anyways, though, here is